Sea kayak in Scotland, the southern Hebrides, Colonsay and Oronsay. The circumnavigation of the beautiful islands of Colonsay and Oronsay. The plan was to get the Ferry out of Oban to Scalasig on Colonsay and then do a fairly relaxed 4-day, 3-night circumnavigation of these islands, getting the ferry back to Oban. Unfortunately, Oban isn't the easiest place to park up and leave a car, but I eventually managed to book a place on the top of Pulpit Hill. So Cathy and I packed our gear and boarded a late afternoon Ferry. As always, the staff were very helpful. Soon we were sailing and off on our adventure. When I first started planning this trip a couple of years earlier, it seemed to be a bit of a hidden gem. I knew a couple of groups who had visited the east side of Colonsay, having paddled the 8 miles over from Jura, but not anyone who had circumnavigated these islands, so I was planning from scratch. These islands are fully exposed to swell and prevailing winds on the west side, and are very rugged with many skerries and reefs. Also, many of the landing spots appeared to be potentially big surf beaches, so it was essential to have a period of settled weather and swell for this trip. Our destination in the distance. And then the port at Scalasig. Disembarking, again with a super helpful CalMac staff. We then sorted out our final bits and we were off. Due to the mid-evening ferry arrival, we just headed south to the first isolated camp spot at Whistler's Bay. A very nice spot, although the midges were rather bad. We set up camp, had some food, and then turned in for the night. Our GPS traced day 1. Day 2. We woke to a very nice, calm but midge-infested morning, so it was breakfast in the tent for me. Then a break of camp and we were soon packed up and on the water. The plan was to head north, briefly retracing our steps, heading anti-clockwise round the northern end of Colonsay, and then onto the west side for the second camp. Near the northwest tip, the beautiful Balnahard beach. We pulled in for a leg stretch and some food. We also checked out the remains of the 2 shipwrecks here. then on round the northern tip and onto the exposed west side of Colonsay. The paddling conditions here were just lovely along this rugged coast. Hey, you're getting wet. We pulled into the beach at Skibbernis and the enormous whale work of art. We had loosely planned to camp here. This was indeed a super place to camp, and the stone sculpture of the whale was very impressive. We had plenty of time, so decided to head on to Killoran Bay to check it out and enjoy the super paddling conditions. While it was a lovely beach, we decided to head back to the more isolated Skibbernis. So we set up camp, we had some food and just soaked it all in. It was great to be here. A few potentially unwelcome locals checked us out, but soon they lost interest, and at least we weren't suffering from any midges here. Time to gather firewood, and later get the fire going. Every trip is better for a fire, a sunset, and of course some essential whiskey. Our GPS traced day 2. Day 3, another lovely morning. Before breakfast I went to check out the whale sculpture again and add a few more rocks to it. This is a 500-foot long giant piece of public art which invites people to add to it. There is still quite a lot to fill in. A relaxed breakfast and break of camp. We were soon packed up. On the water we continued south. The loose plan was to continue along this rugged Colonsay coast and then on to Oronsay and camp on the southwest side. This was a lovely section to paddle with lots of reefs and skerries for entertainment. However, in the wrong conditions, it would certainly feel like a very hostile place. We pulled into Kilchatton for a snack. There is now a small campsite here, the only one on the island, which is open since I first started looking at this trip. Then on south with numerous skerries and a couple of big beaches. Finally on round the southern end of Colonsay and into the shallow lagoon that separates it from Oronsay. The tide was receding fast here. We had just a brief break before we risked getting stranded. Then onto the huge beach on the west side of Oronsay where we had decided to camp. Another very exposed beach which would provide some very lively surf conditions in a big wind or swell, but today it was slightly more chilled. Thankful for the trolleys, we moved the gear up the beach and set off camp in the dunes. Later on, a very refreshing dip. Well, it was August and a very hot day. It would be rude not to. We had food and then an evening walk to the priory. This place originally dates right back to 1350 and has an impressive collection of carved gravestones. Then a walk in the sunset. Our GPS traced day 3. Day 4, my final day. Another super morning with views to Jura in the distance, and a bonus, no midges here still. A relaxed breakfast and break of camp. We then headed on through the skerries on the southern tip of Oronsay, with lots of seals to keep us company. Then out to the skerries on the southeast side, with Jura looking stunning in the slight haze. We landed on the northern end of Aileen, Cheodamal. Then back across to Oronsay and on past Seal Cottage. This was a superb, very relaxed morning's paddle. We had another stop. Well, there was an abundance of stunning beaches here to enjoy. Around the northern end of Oronsay, and briefly back in the lagoon. There was more water in here today. Next stop was a beautiful cable bay on Colonsay. Then on north. This cormorant just seemed to want to have its picture taken. Then back at Scalasagan, time for the evening ferry. Cathy had decided to have an extra night, but had to get back for the car, so we parted company here. I was only very slightly jealous.
This is Cathy paddling off and leaving me. She's had enough. Bye. Yeah, cheers. Have a good one.
Our GPS traced day 4. I had just a short wait and the ferry arrived on time. Sail back to Oban was absolutely fantastic, passing many places I'd kayaked. It was great viewing these from the big boat. The Garvalix, in Island, and the Santa Kerra. fantastic way to end off a great trip. A late evening arrival back in Oban. Then I walked back up Pulpit Hill to retrieve my car. Then sort the gear out and head off. Thanks again, Cathy. What a superb trip that had been.